Have you ever looked up at the sun and wondered what would happen if it had a few more companions? Well, in a time so ancient the world was still new. That wasn't just a thought, it was a terrifying reality. The sky didn't have one sun. It had 10. Imagine this, 10 brilliant, powerful suns, all brothers. It was supposed to take turns crossing the sky, one each day. When one sun rose, life was good. The earth was comfortably warm. The rivers flowed peacefully, plants flourished, and people lived in harmony. It was a perfect system, a delicate balance between light and life. But perfection can sometimes breed boredom. One day, the 10 sun brothers gathered, and a mischievous idea sparked between them. Why should only one of us get to shine? They wondered aloud. We're all suns, aren't we? Let's have some real fun. And so, the next morning, as dawn broke, they did something that would change the world forever. All 10 of them rose into the sky at once. The result was catastrophic. The sky didn't just turn bright. It burned a blinding, searing white. The very ground beneath people's feet cracked open from the intense heat. Rivers, once cool and life-giving, began to boil. Vast forests erupted into flames, and crops withered into ash before they even had a chance to grow. Animals, with no escape from the suffocating heat, collapsed and died. People were in a state of panic. They ran, desperately searching for shade, but there was none to be found. The entire world was an oven. Children cried out as the earth became too hot to even stand on. Life was being baked out of existence. In their desperation, the people fell to their knees and prayed. They begged the heavens, pleaded with the gods to intervene before their world was completely incinerated. High above, in his celestial palace, the Jade Emperor heard their suffering. He looked down and saw a world teetering on the brink of total annihilation. He knew he had to act. So, he summoned the greatest archer in all of creation, a man named Hou Yi. Hou Yi wasn't just any warrior. He was the embodiment of strength, calm, and unwavering discipline. His bow was a divine instrument, carved from the wood of a sacred tree, and his arrows were tipped with a potent magic that never missed its mark. The Jade Emperor looked at him and said, "The suns have forgotten their duty. They are destroying the world you are sworn to protect. Go down to the earth and restore the balance." Hou Yi bowed deeply, accepting the monumental task. He descended from the heavens, and the moment his feet touched the scorched ground, a blast of heat hit him like a physical blow. The air shimmered, thick and heavy, and the land itself seemed to groan in agony. He looked up, his eyes narrowing as he saw the 10 suns blazing in the sky, their laughter echoing like a cruel taunt as the world suffered below them. This wasn't a time for negotiation. This was a time for action. Hou Yi planted his feet firmly on the cracked earth, his stance as solid as a mountain. He raised his legendary bow, the wood warm in his hands. His voice boomed across the desolate landscape, a challenge to the heavens. "Sons of the sky, you are destroying this world. Your fun is over. Return to your places." But the suns only laughed louder. They seemed to swell with arrogance, burning even brighter, as if daring this mortal to challenge their combined power. Hou Yi's face was a mask of grim determination. He knew what he had to do. He knocked his first arrow, drew the bowstring back to his ear, the divine wood creaking with power. With a sharp exhale, he released. The arrow flew like a streak of light, a whisper of magic cutting through the superheated air. It struck the first sun directly in its fiery heart. The sun let out a shriek of agony that shook the heavens, then exploded in a shower of golden fire. As its light extinguished, it transformed into a 3-legged crow, its body ablaze, and crashed down to the earth. Instantly, the sky darkened just a fraction. A sliver of relief washed over the land. The people, who had been hiding in whatever crevices they could find, watched in stunned silence, a flicker of hope igniting in their hearts. Hou Yi did not pause to admire his work. He was a man on a mission. He pulled another arrow from his quiver, his movements fluid and precise. The bowstring sang again. The second sun fell, then the third, then the fourth. With each fallen sun, the oppressive heat lessened. The ground stopped cracking. The boiling rivers began to calm. A gentle breeze, the first in what felt like an eternity, stirred the hot air. He continued, his focus absolute. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. One by one, the arrogant suns were extinguished, their reign of terror brought to an end by a single determined archer. By the time Hou Yi shot down the 9th sun, the world was almost quiet. The unbearable heat had receded, replaced by a gentle, life-sustaining warmth. Only one sun remained in the sky. Hou Yi raised his bow one last time, his final arrow aimed at the last source of the world's suffering. For the first time, the lone sun trembled. It felt a sensation it had never known before. Fear. In a desperate plea, the sun cried out, its voice filled with panic. "Please, great archer, stop. If you destroy me too, the world will be plunged into eternal darkness and cold. Life cannot exist without me." Hou Yi paused. The arrow was ready, the string taut. But he lowered his bow. He looked around at the recovering earth, at the people emerging from their hiding places, at the animals slowly rising to their feet, at the plants that were no longer burning. He understood the truth in the sun's words. Destruction was not his goal. Balance was. He looked at the last terrified sun and spoke, his voice firm, but just, "One sun is enough. Light is meant to give life, not to destroy it." The last sun, humbled and grateful, bowed its fiery head and promised to follow the rules of the sky for all eternity. And so, from that day forward, only one sun has ever crossed the heavens. The earth healed. Crops grew strong and tall again. The rivers flowed cool and clear. People rebuilt their homes and their lives, their hearts filled with gratitude for the hero who saved them. Hou Yi was celebrated across the land, his name forever etched into history as the man who shot the suns. But as is often the case with great deeds and great power, the story doesn't end there. As a reward for his heroism, the gods gifted Hou Yi an elixir of immortality. A single sip would grant eternal life, but there was only enough for one person. Hou Yi loved his wife, Chang'e, more than life itself, and couldn't bear the thought of living forever while she grew old and passed away. So he chose not to drink it and hid the elixir at home. One day, while Hou Yi was away, a greedy apprentice tried to steal the precious liquid. To protect it, Chang'e had no choice but to drink the elixir herself. Immediately, her body became weightless. She began to float, rising up from the earth, higher and higher, unable to stop. She drifted all the way to the moon, where she was destined to live for eternity, forever separated from the husband she loved. Even now, this ancient story teaches us a profound lesson. When we look up at the sun and feel its gentle, life-giving warmth, we remember Hou Yi's incredible power, but more importantly, his mercy and restraint. And when we gaze at the full moon at night, we see Chang'e, a timeless symbol of love, sacrifice, and the delicate balance that holds our world together. Because true strength isn't about having endless power, it's about knowing when not to use it. Thanks so much for watching this journey into mythology with me. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales from ancient worlds. See you next time.